Hello and welcome, everyone. This is the Collegiate Chess League Spring 2025 season brought to you by our sponsor, Susquehanna. My name is Joe, and this is UCLA versus SRCC, which is a school in India. This is Division II quarterfinals. This is a match for the money, actually. The winning teams will move on to the semifinals next weekend. So this is a pretty big deal for both these schools. Obviously, I'm a fan of UCLA. Go Bruins, my alma mater. So I will be biased. But that'll make the games fun. So here we've got Chess Dragon. That is the board 3 Garv Gower from SRCC. And they're playing against AJ, not titled. I believe only 2 players in this match are not titled. AJ is 25-58, so probably a strong player, regardless of their title or not. Only the board 4 from Sri Ram doesn't have a title. We can look at Anirudh's game. Anirudh Jain up against the Bull House. This is the board 1 Bhavik from UCLA. And yeah, all 4 games are underway. The players are off into the races. This is a Dutch defense game. Anirudh with the white pieces from India playing d4. And yeah, Bull House responding with f5. So early f pawn push. See some doubled pawns here. Not the happiest bishop that I've ever seen. Bishop outside the pawn chain, but black does have the bishop pair. Time zones clashing, yeah. India, I believe it's pretty close to midnight, perhaps. In LA, it is almost noon. So, yeah, pretty big time zone difference. Both these players are representing the India flag. So a lot of Indian players in this match. Here we've got 2 FIDE masters going at it. 2600 Mr. Ruthless. That is the board 2 captain, Namit Bir from India, from SRCC. Up against FIDE master Don't Mess With Me 2. This is Shashwath, repping the Ukrainian flag. And the PCL Flair. Shout out to the Pro Chess League. May it rest in peace. One of the main inspirations for the Collegiate Chess League. Hoping we can get maybe some Collegiate Chess League flair one of these days coming soon. Aquamarine USA, thanks for the follow. Welcome in. I'm streaming on both my personal account and the Collegiate Chess League account. Yeah, big time advantage here for the UCLA player with the white pieces, but hasn't castled yet. Doesn't really want to castle, perhaps, if the queen is going to join in on the fun. We have bishop a6 protected by the queen, trying to trade, connecting these last rooks here, getting that minor piece out. And the computer likes rook to b3, just stirring up a little bit of trouble. We see a capture here. I'm expecting f takes, opening up the rook. And yeah, this can also help in some lateral defense when this king will ultimately need it. Joe Bruins Chess League. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it sounds as good. That sounds like something else, potentially. So we've looked at AJ, we've looked at Anirudh, we've now seen this matchup here between Namit Bir and Shashwath, but let's look at the final game we haven't seen yet. This is National Master Hemi Buckets 21. That is Rohit Guha, board 4 from UCLA, the lowest rated player, but titled National Master, and the number 1 player from SRCC in this lineup is Homelander. That is Aditya. 2700 repping the Brazilian flag, international master, and I believe the strongest player in the field for this match. So this is a strong player for sure. and a big reason why SRCC has been doing so well. It's Jerica. Thank you. I will teach. I'm happy to set up some lessons, seriously, if you want. Um, but yeah, shout out to all of our lovely staff members supporting the events, as well as our fair play proctors. Hope the games are all going smoothly. We have the top three divisions all in playoff Zoom calls for fair play proctoring as a requirement to compete in the Collegiate Chess League. So not only is this match going on, but so too are four matches for each division, all the way down to the 24th division. Again, only the top three divisions are requiring the fair play measures for the Zoom call. 2 camera setup, shared screen, the whole 9 yards. All right, computer doesn't like this last move here from Hemi Buckets. Rohit. Should I call him by his username or by his name? Hemi Buckets is a nice one. Homelander's also a pretty good username. He's got the profile picture there. Um, so, anyways, the bishops staring at each other, not doing too much. With this knight retreating, we've conceded some control over the center. Now this bishop move aims to put more pressure, defended by the queen, but also defended by this knight. This knight not going to get kicked anytime soon. There's no a-pawn, surprisingly, for some reason. And yeah, these are blitz games, so the time control is going to keep ticking down. Computer absolutely deplores this move. Kicking the bishop out, but blocking in our own bishop as well as potentially weakening some of these squares in front of our king, taking away that square from our knight as well. This knight doesn't want to go here. And if we go here, well, that bishop might take you, distracting the queen's defense over this pawn. So the pawn gets extra support now by e3. And now this knight hops in, and the king now takes the place in f2, trying to guard these dark squares that have just been weakened. And now e5, blasting open the center. Black, capitalizing on a potential weak king. You want to open up lines, and that's exactly what we see here. And now a blunder. Look at these pieces all attacking d4, probably some knight capture, and the house is going to be falling. Look at all of the pieces lined up on this dark square diagonal here. So even with that extra pawn, e5 doing a great job. This is going to be a point for the team from India. Hemi Buckets, less than a minute on the clock, 40 seconds, and a dire position. Not looking good. Any knight move is a discovery, and even knight takes is that the knight's hanging. If you take the knight, you're going to get forked royally, and yeah, it's all falling apart. You could still take the knight, and lo and behold, you can get an exchange at a minimum. Bishop check is also pretty brutal. The king cannot go backwards and is going to have to get even further exposed on the e-file, and so we see resignation. First point goes to SRCC, game number 1 of this match. Let's take a quick look here at AJ's position against the Chess Dragon. So first point to Aditya, 1-0 lead. AJ, board 2 from UCLA against Namit Bir. Namit Bir, the captain from India, looks to be doing fairly well here with the white pieces up a pawn and looking to trade queens. When you're up material, you want to trade, you want to simplify. Another thing that is particularly worrisome is the clock. 12 seconds to 2.5 minutes. Looks great for Namit Bir. Lots of pressure here. Yeah, queen trade was denied actually by the side with extra material, leaving the queens on to aid in the attack. It was black trying to trade, and now rook takes e6. That's another pawn. That's going to remove the pawn chain. You're going to be left with double isolated pawns. No, doesn't even take for whatever reason. Guess what? We're tripling up. King now aiding in the defense. Position held on by a thread. Is Namit Bir going to find a breakthrough? And if so, where is it? I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe there was a back rank check. Oh, the rook was hanging. That's why. Okay. All right. Actually, you know what? You know what? Listen up. No, that wouldn't have worked. I would have loved to take blunder the rook on purpose with check and then block with check, but it doesn't work because the queen and the bishop can converge on c4, blocking that discovery check. Maybe you had maybe you had rook takes double check. No, we're in check. Never mind. I'm crazy. All right, these players are clearly better than me. That's why they're the ones playing and I'm the one talking. But yeah, AJ holding on 5 seconds. Is it going to be enough? We have another result. Don't mess with me too. Loses to Mr. Ruthless. I thought that was the game I was watching. No, we're not watching Namabir. That's the board two from India. Board two from UCLA we're watching. AJ is up against Garv Gower. So my apologies, but a great start for the top two boards from India. 2-0 they are together combined against the bottom two boards from UCLA. Not an unexpected result here in the first round. Is that pawn hanging? Question. Answer? I mean, probably. I don't know. He was trying to defend this pawn. Yeah, so that's a second pawn advantage. Bishop just tucks back, and yeah, it's looking pretty good. I would push the D pawn, maybe a discovery. I would still go for that. Now you can't do it, but all the pawns are defended. Chess Dragon doesn't have to do too much. We do have another result. Bull House, top board from UCLA, getting a point, which is huge to not go down 3-0. But UCLA will go down 3-1 in this match in the first round. We see two rooks versus a queen. Interesting trade there, but this should be mate soon. Yeah, this rook cannot leave the 7th because guess what? Check and resigns. So, big point there from the board 3. Garv Gower giving his team a 2-point lead after round 1. Shout out to Adrian. Shout out to Master Chess. Welcome in. Hope you're all doing well. Also, after this match, we have another awesome match to show you all. It's going to be an upgrade from Division 2. We're going to go all the way to the top. Division 1 semifinals at that. We're going to watch Mizzou versus Lviv. So stay tuned, buckle up. We've got some exciting chess to share with you all today. And this match, starting off hot, team from India, they mean business. 3-1 lead, looking to punch their ticket into the semifinals, guaranteeing themselves a cash prize. I could look it up. Let me see. What is the cash prize here for Division 2? Thank you, Himalayan Mystic. Welcome in. Round 2 now is underway. Let's see. The cash prizes for Division 2. These teams are fighting for $300 guaranteed for 4th place and a chance for at least another couple $100. If they get 3rd place, it's $500. Now, if they move on to the semifinals, so if they win this week plus their match next week, they're guaranteed at least $1,000 cash for at least 2nd place, opportunity to fight for 1st place for $2,500. So not bad considering this tournament was free to register. So a couple $100 on the line for these two teams. And UCLA down 2 points, only with their top board getting a point. They're going to have to fight back in this match. This is round 2 underway. We have a Scandi game here. E4. And, okay, not quite a Scandi. This is the Nimzovich defense, Scandinavian advanced variation. Okay. Well, nice little pawn chain here. We could see a trade, an early F pawn push from Hemi Buckets. Rohit, board 4. Jerica, future GM for sure. Mark your calendars. All right, we've got AJ versus Anirudh, the two only non-titled players in this matchup. An early queenside castles from AJ with the white pieces. I'm loving this development. Black hasn't castled yet, hasn't brought the queen out. A bit of a space advantage for white in the center. Black with an early queenside pawn advancement, very typical in a queenside structure of castling. You want to attack on the side where your opponent's king is. So that's why Black might be a little hesitant towards castling, because look at these pawns, look at these bishops, everything White has pointing at that king side. And as soon as you castle, guess what? You're going to get hit, and you're going to get hit hard by g5, blasting open the king side. Black does not want that smoke. So that's why the king is still in the center of the board, but that is not a safe place to be either. This is a dilemma for Anirudh, and that is why we see time being spent here, under 4 minutes already here on move 12, whereas AJ has only spent 12 seconds on the clock, 4:48 left, and this is looking good for the white pieces. So optimistic here for AJ, our board 2 from UCLA. Let's take a look at Homelander here. This is the board 1 International Master, 2,700. This is the guy to beat from India. He's looking to sweep, honestly, with that sort of rating advantage, International Master title, top board in the matchup. He's looking to win every single game, looking to carry his team into the semifinals of Division 2. How did a 2,300 get paired with a 2,600? So this is a team format. There's 4 players per team, and each player from each team will play each player from the other team. So it's an all-play-all format. There are 16 total games. So in round 1 that we just saw, it was the biggest mismatch between board 4 and board 1, and the players are listed by their chess.com Blitz ratings. So here we have a 2,700 versus a 2,500. This is round 2. So this is the top board from India versus the board 3 from UCLA. Don't Mess With Me 2 is Shashwath. And this is another opposite side castles game. These players are going at it. And honestly, the computer likes Black, and the material's even. This king looks a little bit more exposed, but the pawns are a little bit more stuck, right? They're locked in. There's not a lot of trades. The only tension is between these 2 pawns. And this trade, frankly, benefits the Black bishop. So this is not something that White necessarily wants to engage with. And Black also might be a little hesitant to capture, because you might open up lines against your king on the G file if White takes back with the G pawn. Now, pushing might be enticing, because that does open up the bishop. It doesn't allow further trades, and that's technically a connected pass pawn. So this is potentially good for the UCLA team, especially if you can get a point off of this India top board. So we see White decides to take on E5. We see the knight recapture, and now the bishop going to D4, trying to combat this long diagonal. Let's take a look at another game. I believe we haven't looked at Bullhouse yet versus Chess Dragon. Chess Dragon got a big win in round 1 against AJ, an upset, if you will. Board 3 versus board 2. And now up against Bullhouse, this is Bavik, board 1 from UCLA. So UCLA's top board, 2608, not as high rated as India's board 3, which is crazy. That's why SRCC had such a high seed in this bracket. That's why they did so well during the regular season. So UCLA has their work cut out for them. UCLA, they did win in the first round of playoffs to get here, beating Georgia Tech by a narrow margin, 8.5 to 7.5, really as close as it gets, besides overtime. Speaking of which, we did see an overtime match just yesterday in Division 1 semifinals between Texas and SLU. So SLU moves on to the finals, and they're going to be particularly interested in today's match after this, because they will be playing the winner between Mizzou and Lviv. So that is going to be following this match. But for now, We've got all of our eyes set on this one, UCLA versus SRCC from India. And yeah, Sri Ram College, they have a 2-point lead after one round. There are 4 total rounds. Now, if the match ends before 4 rounds, because it's playoffs, there's no 4th round played. But if it's tied, it could be more than 4 rounds. So we'll just have to see. UCLA is trying to get their comeback, and it's not looking great. Their chances, not particularly great. This team from India is just so strong. India has a lot of talent, lots of young, talented players in their system. Obviously, Gukesh, current world champion, is only 18 years old. Kid's an absolute beast. Youngest world champion in chess history. Quite the accomplishment. Knight in the center hitting the queen. The queen can move up with check and does so. We see a block with the queen opting for a queen trade. Computer didn't like this. Maybe just a king move, perhaps. Maybe queen here. And you're looking to infiltrate. That's actually a checkmate in one threat, by the way. How would you stop that? Curiously, I guess you have to move the rook. But, I mean, yeah, you could go here. Maybe not the best use of black's time defending. And we see that. Queen going to e4. This is a loaded gun looking to end the game right now. So mate in one threatened. Black has to react to this. There's no good block. You can't go here or here, as that would just lose material. So you have to move the rook. There's no other move. Rook move. I mean, you could give a check, but that would be ludicrous. Throwing pieces into the wind. So the rook is going to move. The question is, where does the rook want to move? Because the rook doesn't have to guard the check. The rook could simply move just to create a flight square for this king to run away. Rook does go here, says, I don't want to invite the queen into my home. And rook here, just a swift move, hitting the queen. Queen's going to have to dodge this, or you could block with the knight, but you don't really want to because you're stepping into a pin. Your knight will be pinned and then won. So queen steps back. Now we see a check. This diagonal, everything's covered. Blocking with the pawn, it's a little risky. This bishop now might be a little weaker, and lo and behold, White's doing a good job here, just slowly but surely creating weaknesses. Black had a bigger advantage, but that queen check probably shouldn't have been blocked by the queen, allowing for all this counterplay. Bishop coming back, guarding this check square, and also opening up the queens to each other, offering a trade. Now, whether or not White will trade is another question. I think, okay, they do. I was going to say probably not, but the answer is yes. Rook here, hitting the knight with tempo. Knight comes right back into the center. Keeping an eye on that square on the 7th rank. Rooks love to go to the 7th rank, especially when the king is there. And yeah, Black's just going to try and trade things down here. All right, let's take a look at some of the other games. We have a couple time scrambles going on, actually. Here we see AJ trying to push the clock. Only 7 seconds from Anirudh. This knight currently hanging gets recaptured. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. You got to move right now. 2.6 seconds on the clock. And now we see rook takes h8 with check. Could be played, but then you got to remember your queen is hanging. So you can take the knight. You're not going to get forked. That was the idea that Anirudh had. 3 seconds on the clock. Yes, takes the knight. Now your rook is going to get recaptured. And now, wow, computer likes bishop takes d6. What a move. Blasting open the d file. 30 seconds for AJ. Can he find it? It's okay if not. You can also take on f7, the computer says, allowing for the fork. But guess what? It says knight f5, and you're chilling. Even bishop g3 it likes, says go ahead, take the knight because you're going to help me open up that d file. Everything's going to be falling for Anirudh. Yes, you see, if you take the bishop, we're going to take that bishop. And again, the d file is wide open. You can take on e5. That's a free pawn. And now AJ's getting into time trouble. 10 seconds on the clock, finds the move. This pawn is hanging. This pawn is soon to be hanging. We can also take on d6. Yes, this is going to be absolutely crushing. You can't even take back. Bishop takes is going to be a fork. This is catastrophic material loss for black. AJ wins. Point for UCLA. We have Mr. Ruthless taking down Hemi Buckets again. Back to Bullhouse. Looks like he's going to lose. Let me make sure I'm putting these points on the board. Mr. Ruthless, that is Namat Bir from India, the team captain. AJ gets on the board with his first point. Still a 2-point advantage for India, and they're looking to add on here with Garv Gower up against the Bullhouse, board 1. It's a rook and pawn endgame, but yeah, this rook is protected. Or sorry, the pawn is, I should say. This pawn is hanging. That pawn is hanging. That's a lot of pawns. Let's take a look at Homelander. Top board from India. How is this game going? It's saying it's a draw, but there's a time scramble, so anything can happen. That's a check. That's another check. Queen block, offering a trade. Nope, a check. Another queen block. This should be a draw. Looks like a perpetual. And they're going to agree to it. Right here. Or does he push to win? That's a good way to lose. Yeah, takes the draw. All right. Homelander, that is the top board from India. So a draw is not a bad result, I must say. Especially as a board 3 up against an international master. Oh my god, G2 is winning for black. Only move, though. Anything else is a draw. Can Garv Gower find it? He does. Pawn push. You can queen, but then that's mate. No, it's not. Rook can block, but holy smokes. What does it want? It wants rook c1 check or rook b1. Drawing the king to the first rank, queening with check, with a fork. That would have been ludicrous. And now the game is a draw. Wow, rook c1 or b1, both completely winning for black and missed. But the game's not over yet. Black has an extra pawn. Both players less than 30 seconds on the clock. That's a check. Do not go to d4. That is a landmine square. If you step on it, you're going to get skewered. Another check. We can check here. We can check here. Does the king dare go for the pawn? White's going to try to get something going here. Let's see. Oh, you cannot step to the G file either. That's a great way to get skewered. So you don't want to go on this diagonal, and you don't want to go on this file. So the king is in no man's land. That pawn is hit. Can you save it? The king goes to it. Check here. That's going to win this pawn. But as soon as you don't give a check, guess what? You're going to get checked. So, yes, grabbing the pawn, equalizing the material, and now it's black's turn. There's one check, there's two checks, and they agree to a draw, both with 10 seconds less on the clock. So, another draw. Top board, Bavik. Both top boards from both teams getting a draw against the third boards. Garv Gower doing great things for the India team. And Namabir, the captain from India, a perfect 2-0 so far against the bottom two boards from UCLA. They maintained their 2-point lead going into the second half, 5-3 score. And round 3 already underway, just like that. Yeah, India has its own league as well, by the way, Himalayan Mystic. A lot of strong players. This is the Italian. Are we going to see a fried liver attempt? Imagine. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, we have knight g5 on move 4 for white. Yes, d5, bishop check, bishop back to d3. This is pretty close to mainline theory as it gets for the knight g5 attack. This is not so common these days. You don't typically see that. It's typically not seen as very good for white. And yeah, allowing for the sacrifice. If knight had taken back on d5, then that would be called the fried liver attack. But instead of taking back, we see the knight go to a5, hitting the bishop. And after that check here, we see white is simply up a pawn. So quick way to get a pawn advantage, but can AJ hold on to it? This bishop on d3 is typically very awkward for a piece. Uh, doesn't like to just be there normally blocking the d pawn. So we'll see. This bishop's going to have to move again at some point. Where it goes, maybe f1. That would be a logical square now that it's been vacated from the rook. Both sides castled kingside. And this would be a huge game for AJ to scalp off the top from the India team. This is their International Master Board 1. So we'll definitely need to keep an eye out on this game if White is able to hold on to this one pawn advantage, or if Homelander here can take that point back and remain in the point column. They haven't lost a game yet. All right, let's take a look at UCLA's board 1, Bullhouse, Bavik, and let's see what's going on here. So it looks like neither side is castled yet. Bishop takes d5. Black has to take back, chooses to take with the queen, offers a queen trade. Now, computer says you can just castle, which I think is a little crazy. This d pawn is hanging, so that's interesting. I was considering maybe you could play c4. Computer says this is the second best move, and the third best move, it says play b5. So you have a couple choices here. Trading is not on the agenda. The computer does not call for that, as you're inviting Black's knight into the center of the board with a tempo against your c-pawn. So that's not particularly fun. So yeah, I think I would play c4. c4 is kind of my typical move in that I don't want to trade queens so early. But Bullhouse spending maybe a little too much time on this move. You have a few options. You just got to pick one and stick with it. 444 for Mr. Ruthless. That is the captain, Namet Beer. And Bullhouse, only 3 minutes on the clock. So got to pick up the pace here if you're to remain competitive. Goes for b5. This is the computer's third choice. So Black could trade queens. Taking, kicks the knight away. So we'll see what Namet Beer decides to do here against Bavik. Namet Beer is undefeated so far. Perfect 2 for 2. Now playing against the board 1 from UCLA here in this third round. So SRCC, they're trying to get 8.5 points. They're at 5 right now, so they need 3.5. There's only 8 games left. This match could technically end this round if SRCC gets 3.5 or sweeps the round. They would not play round 4, but UCLA, hoping to keep it close, they're going to try their best to mount a comeback here after losing that first round. They kept the second round tied 2-2, and now this third round is instrumental for them to come back, and Namabir giving a lot of the time back on this move. So let's take a look at the other boards while these players are thinking. Let's check in with Anirudh. This is the bottom board from India up against Don't Mess With Me Too. This is Shashwath board 3. So Anirudh hasn't gotten a point yet. They're at 0 out of 2 so far, losing both games to the UCLA top 2 boards. And yeah, trying to get on the board for the first time. 2.5 minutes, pretty low compared to the 4:15 from Shashwath. Himalayan Mystic is another one of our proctors, I believe. Sorry, I wasn't picking up on that at first. Maybe Jerica gave it away. Okay, let's take a look at the last game. I don't believe I've seen. This is Garv versus Rohit. Rohit also 0 points so far. And Garv has really been one of the difference makers. 1.5 points against the top 2 boards as of board 3. That is huge for Garv. So can Rohit get their first points on the board and put a stop to Anirudh's, or sorry, to Garv Gower's point streak? And it's looking tough. Both sides here have castled kingside. We have a Fianchetto bishop and a bishop that is not here for white. Instead, it somehow got to f4. Both sides still have their dark square bishops, but black might want to consider trading that bishop off. It's maybe what white did, or what black did. Here we see a capture on d4. The queen gets hit. This I'm not so sure about. Computer wants queen e8. I don't know if why not take this right away. I'm not sure. Queen b4 makes some sense. The computer doesn't like it. Computer says knight b4, and you get hit with knight c6, hitting the queen, and there's a check. But when the knight moves, that opens up the bishop. I guess you don't really want to protect the double isolated pawns in the center. And taking this puts yourself into a pen, not the most comfortable place to be. But yeah, knight comes back, hitting that pawn. Queen just dives right in, holding on. So this is annoying for Garv Gower. This is good for UCLA. This is Rohit just being as annoying as possible, which you love to see. Knight comes back, hitting the queen yet again. Queen's going to have to move, but that's going to shield the attack on these pawns again. And ideally, black could try their best. Maybe queen back to e4, knight d2, and then it's saying queen to e7. This is a potential repetition. Garv Gower might favor that. Maybe knight g5 they'll play. And again, the computer likes queen e7 for whatever reason. I'm not too entirely sure. But yeah, I like how Rohit is playing this. Quick moves, easy responses, trying to get some of that time back on the clock and just maintaining the pawn advantage. All right, let's take a look. We've got a bit of a time disadvantage here for Anirudh. Under 30 seconds to 3.5 minutes. This is looking good for UCLA as well. The bottom two boards had a rough go against the top two boards from India in the first two rounds. Now in the second half of the match, it's the bottom boards versus the bottom boards. So they have a bit more of a chance here. 18 seconds for Anirudh, but keeping the position relatively close still. Black trying to open things up on the H file. White trying to stir up trouble. Rook comes back to defend and hold on to everything. This pawn might push and try to stir up trouble, but black would just simply push past it. 12 seconds, 11, 10 now. Less than 10 seconds for Anirudh. Got to find a move. Random pawn push, king move, I don't know. Something, 3, 2, there they go. They pushed the A pawn, but like I said, B6, that's going to be super solid. These rooks on the B file are going to look really goofy. And now E4, you can tell the desperation is there. Under 5 seconds, pushing things, and this D pawn's going to be hanging. This is a great capture to make. The knight takes, hitting the bishop, hitting the pawn, but you can simply defend the bishop. You can move the bishop. I would say take, because you're working against that isolated pawn. That's a long-term weakness for the white pieces. And the great thing is Shashwath has 3 minutes, so much time to take their time to figure things out. Rook here, hitting the pawn, king up, G4 the computer loves. What else does it love? Rook C3 check was super annoying as well. Yeah, never took on E4, opting to keep things closed, but these pawns are on dark squares now, and we have a flag. Boom, big point for UCLA. First point of the round. Shashwath gets their first win, and that brings UCLA within 1. It's only 5-4. Let's look at another game here. Bullhouse, top board from UCLA against Mr. Ruthless. Here it's a relatively even position, but Mr. Ruthless under 20 seconds. That is Namabir, the captain from India. Undefeated, perfect score so far, 2 out of 2, but up against the top board, Bhavik from UCLA. And yeah, big time crunch. It's going to be hard to play in this sort of pressure. I'm wondering if we can get a rook opposite this king, and voila, you've got knight f6, big fork, taking advantage of a pin. This pawn is hit, so rook f3, computer doesn't like it. Just pushing, trying to stir up some trouble as well with that F pawn. So yeah, greedy pawn push, or pawn grab, I should say. Mr. Ruthless here. Nama Beer says, you know what? I'm going to call your bluff. Go ahead. Push that pawn. I'm going to take your pawn for free. But rook AD1, that's going to prevent rook D or queen D4 check, looking for a queen trade. And now F6. Very nice move here from Bavik. Rook AD1 first. Push. And now the game was over. Queen C1 was GG. Oh my goodness. But time pressure. Knight takes with check. Very human move to make. Now it's not so good. Remember, you lost a pawn. Uh-oh. Queen C1 again. Queen C1. That's just mate. That's just mate. Oh, Queen C1 found. Bavik didn't find it the first time, but they find it the second time. That is unstoppable. Pawn push, delaying the inevitable. Queen here. Queen H4 check. King has to move. And then knight check. That's going to be a windmill tactic. Discovery with any knight move. Knight takes F7. Pick up the exchange. Why not? 10 seconds. Looking for it. Oh! Check, forking the king and the queen. Pawn takes, forking the two rooks. Taking, promoting to a queen. Intermezzo. Then taking back on D1. Wow, what a tactic. Huge point from UCLA. The match is tied up 5-5. We've got an absolute time scramble here, but it's mate next. Wow. Okay, big point from Aditya, giving back the lead to India. We've got one game left. Bavik, 2.5. Aditya, 2.5. This is the last game of the round. We've got board 4 from UCLA up against Garv Gower, board 3. That was a blunder. Black was better had they played king to C7 instead going here. It's a draw. You got to take. Doesn't take. Now it's winning for white. Oh my goodness. The time scramble. The drama. This could have been a huge point for UCLA. Instead, it's going to be a huge point for India. They're going to maintain a 2-point lead going into the 4th round. Oh, that's crazy. Had the king gone to C7, that would have been better. Why? I couldn't tell you. It doesn't make sense. And yet the game is still going. It's not over yet. We've got a potential ladder, and that's going to be the end of that bishop. So that's going to be game unless you see a really dirty flag. But it's calculating forced mate for white. We see resignation. I'm going to go quickly back to the moment here that black was better. Right here, absolutely necessary move, king to C7. Why? Because the knight is hanging. But when you go here, you can take on E6. Because you're going to have a knight check and saving your knight. Unbelievable. The natural instinct to try to stick around to defend your pieces ended up costing Rohit the game. And that's going to cost UCLA the difference between being tied 6-6 and being down 7-5. So a very clutch win from Garv Gower. They're 2.5 out of 3. They still haven't lost, and the bottom boards from both teams still haven't gotten a point. What's up, Smoothly? Shout out to Zach. Always appreciate him being around. And here we have round 4. This is do or die for the season. The winner goes home with nothing. The winner moves on to the semifinals with a guaranteed cash prize of $300. Wow, we might see knight d5. This is the Sveshnikov Sicilian. No, doesn't go for it. I'm a little surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you'd go for this, but who knows? Anyways, black's trying to fork the knights, so that knight says no thank you and leaves. We see a knight capture for a bishop. So black's got the bishop pair. This knight hasn't developed yet. I figured you'd follow with knight d5, but no. You go a4, and then you go knight d5, only after black provokes it. What's up, Smoothly? Motivational speech for UCLA. Listen up, Bruins. You've just been through 8 grueling weeks of the Collegiate Chess League's second division, facing off some of the best teams this world has to offer at the university level. You've made it all the way into the playoffs, defeating Georgia Tech by the narrowest of margins, 8.5 to 7.5, to make it here, facing off against SRCC from India. And would all that be for nothing? I don't think so. You're here for a reason, because you're a great chess team, and you were meant for greater things. You were meant to make it to the semifinals and to defeat your opponents and to come home as champions. This is your time. I've had it with the India team winning everything. India this, India that. I get it. They're great at chess. But guess what? So are we. And we're here to win chess games starting now in round 4 when your team needs you most. And that was a blunder. But you know what? We don't let that bring us down, because that's not the end of the game. Because it's not Jover until I say it's Jover. This match is far from Jover. We've got 4 games left. We need at least 3 of them. So luckily, if we lose this one, there's still 3 other games. So let's go. Let's see what we have in store for us today. We've got Hemi Buckets, our board 4, looking great against Anirudh. Both these players have lost all 3 games before this. So one of them is guaranteed at least something. Who that is going to be, these players are going to find out right here, right now. And it's going to go to UCLA. This is going to be a huge game. Let's check in with the top boards. Neither player has lost. They drew 1 game out of 3, and now they're up against each other. We've got Homelander from India, 2700 international master with the white pieces, as if they didn't have enough of an advantage. Now against candidate master with the black pieces, Bavik from UCLA, it's do or die. This is a must-win situation, more or less. Why? Because I think AJ's going to lose. Wait, was this the game I was looking at? I don't know. It's looking good for India. I'm not going to lie, you guys. Oh, the computer did not like that. That's a free pawn, and oh my goodness, look at those connected passers on the outside. Both players under 4 minutes. It's just a free pawn. Nothing to fear. Oh my goodness. This could be the UCLA season. Look at those monster pawns. How do you stop them? You don't. Dire times here. Knight's hit. You can just bring the bishop back. I need to find something good. Okay. We've got a slight edge for white here. This is our board 3, Shashwith. What's up, geezer? Good to see you. Sri Ram College, they only need 1.5 more points to win. This is looking good. That was what's called a mistake. Potentially even a blunder. Why? Wow, it loves bishop d7. Would not have expected that to be the move. Also likes bishop to d5. That makes some logical sense. I'm like wondering why is that? Why not? Okay, so we can't. I don't know. It wants some bishop move. It goes here. I understand this one because if they take, lo and behold, that's checkmate. This is pretty good. Yeah, we're threatening this and then that, I guess, or something. Yeah, this pawn is pinned. This is a beautiful game here from the UCLA board 3 up against Garv Gower. Garv also hasn't lost a game yet, so 2.5 out of 3. Shoshwith looking to hand them their first L of this match. Is it too little too late? I believe not. I choose not to believe, because I do believe UCLA has a chance. As long as my heart still beats, my love for them will go on. This is looking good for white. King, I don't know what the king is doing on d7. I couldn't tell you. But both kings have decided to bong cloud this round for whatever reason. Yeah, who needs castling? Or queens, by the way. They've traded queens. And we've just got an absolute mess on the board with the pieces. Black's got doubled pawns and a semi-open G file. Whether or not that leads to anything, we'll find out. The computer gives a slight edge to white. All right, and it's giving a slightly larger edge to white after that pawn push. And it wants the move f3, asking the knight where it would like to go. It doesn't have too many options. I would say it has one option. And we see it taking that option, and now knight check. And yeah, bishop takes it. D takes is going to hit the knight yet again. We're going to open up the D file potentially. So what the computer wants, bishop to G5, hitting the rook. Knight block maybe. Nope. Check here. And then it just wants king f2. Yeah, that's a nice line there, I guess. I don't know. Just defending the G pawn. It just likes white. I don't know why. Okay. So yeah, this game is dead lost, unfortunately. This is a big point for India. This is going to get them to the 8-point mark, guaranteeing at least overtime if they lose everything else, and it sets them at the threshold for victory. They would only need a half point more to win the match. So if AJ loses, all of his teammates have to pull up big with a dub. Otherwise, their team goes packing home with nothing in their pockets except a big L. So they don't want to do that. And AJ's not giving up. 20 seconds on the clock. He could find a stalemate or something. I don't know. These pawns are pretty brutal, though. I got to admit. Opposite color bishops, though. Am I right? Love opposite color bishops. I don't know. This rook is now forever. I mean, you could consider sacking the exchange, but you still have an outside pawn still. White's making sure, yeah, you give up an exchange for a pawn, but guess what? There's a second pawn there. So, yeah, plus that is an exchange, which is nice to have. You can always give the exchange back if you wish, if you would like. So you have that option. Whereas black doesn't have that option. Black is just slowly but surely waiting for their eventual demise. Not super fun, if you ask me. Okay. Queen is hit. 8 seconds. Queen, keeping an eye on the pawn, keeping pressure on the rook. Yeah, 2 minutes, though, to less than 10 seconds. It's hard to make a comeback. Let's check in on our top boards here. Bull House, only 20 seconds, and Homelander just adding onto this advantage. Trading. That pawn is hit. You could just take that if you want, or you could take that as well. I mean, the options are seemingly limitless, and all of them looking pretty good. Not good for UCLA, but good for India. So I suspect this should be about done. AJ's going to flag here in their final moments. Let's see. Rook C7 I figured would be good. A computer likes rook B7. That wasn't a move. Okay, king gets out of the pen, defends the bishop. Let's see. We've got a queen check. No? Maybe you could blunder like a perpetual. I don't know. Like if the queen comes in and then you like go here, here or something. Maybe there's like check, check. It doesn't look good. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why the computer doesn't say just check immediately. That looks like, oh, this is hanging. That's why. Well, it's not hanging because you're in check. So the king gets out of check, and then your next move, you got to save your rook or give a check. I don't know, folks. Yeah, so Homelander wins, goes 3.5 out of 4. Bavik loses their first game of the match. And India is at 8 points. So UCLA is in must win on the remaining 3 boards. This game does not look like it's going to work out. In fact, 2 seconds, 1 second. Okay, queen takes pawn. I don't know. It's plus 11 with queen h6. There's one check. Just you take, that's mate threatened. That's one check. You can't even take this guy because you're getting mated next. Yeah, this is also, yeah, that's just mate. So that's the game. That's the match. That's also the season. So congratulations to SRCC moving on to the semifinals where they're guaranteed at least $300 cash for a chance to win more. So shout out to Mr. Ruthless. That is Nababir, their team captain, getting 3 out of 4 points. Himmy Buckets gets the Battle of the Board Force, their first win, getting a point on the board. And here we have a winning position for Garv Gower, board 3 from India. So really strong start and a really strong finish. Yeah, let's go back here. This was a dead even position. The king stepped on a landmine, and he got blown up by a pawn, a check, a discovery check. And even though the bishops defended, the A1 square was not defended. This pawn cannot stop both this A pawn and the capture of the bishop. So a really nice tactic here to finish things off for Garv and time pressure. And yeah, India, strong team, strong country. They get the win here. This is a point for Garv. Also finishing 3.5 out of 4. Really great performance from the top 3 boards, proving why India deserves to be here. Now, with that being said, I have another match to share with you. So stay tuned. We've got Division 1 semifinals, Mizzou versus Lviv, coming up right next. Hello and welcome everyone to the Collegiate Chess League's Spring 2025 season, brought to you by Susquehanna. This is the Division 1 semifinals between Mizzou and Lviv from Ukraine. This is a big match. This is for the Division 1 finals. And we've already got games underway here. We've got Luca from Mizzou up against Martin. Board 4 versus board 1, round 1. And yeah, 2,900 Grandmaster from Ukraine is their top board. But Luca's the board for 2800 Grandmaster. Predictions. What's up, Robbie? Good to see you. Shout out to Bishop Stars. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't do a prediction on that first one, but let's start one here. Okay. We've got Mizzou versus LV predictions in the chat. Thank you, Aquamarine, for answering Geezer's question. I knew it was Sri Ram College. I didn't know what the second C was for, actually. I figured it was chess. Just kidding. Okay. Yeah, let me double check that I have the right board orders, actually. Okay, so I already missed. Ariantari already won his game, so I'm a little late, and I apologize for that. And I have to swap Luca, it seemed. Luca is actually board 3, and Martin is board 2. So please give me a second. I'm not seeing any of the other games though, so that's okay. Okay, so Kalev is board 1. Is that Kovalenko? I have to figure out what their names are. Case is Martin. I'm just going to swap them and hope that fixes it. I'll double check. Commissar. I got to swap these two as well. All right, I think I should have the board order correct now. If it's wrong, I'll figure it out later. What's up, Yasun? Shout out to Yasun. What's up, Dijon? How's it going? Yeah, welcome in. This is the Division 1 semifinals of the Collegiate Chess League. So when Yasun goes to college, she too can join the Collegiate Chess League. And we have resignation. Luca goes down to Case, who is Martin. Martin's on the case, tying things up at 1 each. Let me see if I missed any other scores or any other games. There probably should be other games going on, so let me double check that. That is what this is. All right, so we've got Igor Kovalenko versus Isik Khan. Igor is the top board, 2973 Grandmaster, versus Isik Khan, board 4 from Mizzou. And it looks like Isik is actually doing really well here, considering it's board 1 versus board 4. Up on time, up in position. We have potentially the rook and the queen trying to have some fun, but this queen is on the long diagonal. This rook also now can come here and try to flush the queen away. So yeah, rook here, strong threat for sure. But I suspect rook here should be fine. Let's see. Queen check might be annoying with rook here as well. So let's see. Queen d6 check. 30 seconds on the clock. There is 2-second increment. That's one check. King goes in the corner. Are we going to go for the back rank? Very important question. The computer agrees rook d8 is the top choice. This is 5+2 blitz. This is team format, all play all, teams of 4. It's very similar to the Pro Chess League. Couple checks here, but you're going to dodge them. King gets up. Oh, you can't go that way. Queen d2, only good move. Will we see that? Absolutely not. Queen to d2 is checkmate in one move. Huge blunder from Isak. Oh my goodness. So a huge point for Ukraine. Sorry, I gave that to the wrong player. That's almost I don't know what to say. But yeah, I mean, Isak was doing well as a board 4, but hey, you know, title players blunder too. -10 aura. Okay, let me like refresh the. I don't know why I'm not seeing all of the games at once, so that is a little annoying. Or maybe the games have all finished, and I'm just waiting for round 2. Yeah, I see Lviv. Lviv is okay. Antipov won his game. Okay, so it's tied 2-2. The top 2 boards getting the job done. And here we go. Round 2 underway. Igor Kovalenko versus Luka. Luka, board 3 from Mizzou, losing to Martin in that first round. This is a close one. I want to say Mizzou, they are the defending champions from last season, but they are the number 2 seed because they lost to SLU. SLU punched their ticket to the finals yesterday, beating Texas in overtime. Texas was a struggling team during the regular season, but they punched their ticket into the playoffs by beating this Lviv team. This Lviv team who had their work cut out against them in the quarterfinals last week against the number 3 seed SRM, Institute of Science and Technology, also from India. So Lviv did a great job defeating and upsetting that Indian team. And now they find themselves here in the semifinals against the defending champs. So can Mizzou make their way back into the finals to face off against SLU, the only team that beat them in the regular season? And we would have a rematch of last season's finals. $0.10. Okay, let me look at how the predictions turn out, by the way. There were 0 points in the pool. Absolutely love that. I love Robbie coming in and being like, hey, any predictions? And then no points bet. Maybe he's asking me for my personal prediction. Honestly, I did submit a prediction bracket, and I did have Mizzou and SLU rematch. And I had SLU going all the way. I had SLU winning. Now, I got to say, yesterday's match, I was not very confident. In fact, I even bet channel points against SLU based off just that first round. UT Rio Grande looked hot. They looked great, especially coming off a 10.5 to 1.5 win against Athens. I mean, unbelievable performance. Then they won the first round 2.5 to 1.5. And then on top of that, they had the winning advantage in that fourth round. Fourth in what I thought would have been a final round. But no, they threw, forcing overtime where SLU won. You can't miss those opportunities. Shout out to Emily. How'd your stream go? This is the Division I semifinals of the Collegiate Chess League. University of Missouri up against Lviv State University of Physical Culture. So we've got US versus Ukraine. And the winner of this match punches their ticket into the Division 1 finals where they'll face off against St. Louis University, who's undefeated so far. But Mizzou, they're the defending champs. So they're looking to win again, but SLU is looking to take the title back. SLU has made it to the finals at least 5 times in a row now, which is incredible. And Lviv, a lot of people didn't think they'd make it this far. They beat the team from India, SRM, to make it here. D1 is Division 1. Yeah, there are 24 divisions in the Collegiate Chess League. So if you're a college student and you're like, I don't know if I'm good enough, you're good enough. Trust me. Anyone at any rating, you could be brand new, you would be allowed into the Collegiate Chess League. The 24th division average team rating is below 800 blitz. So any school is welcome to join. This is the top of the top, though, right? Igor is board 1 from Ukraine, 2978. I haven't watched the top boards. We've got Mikhail Antipov, over 3,000 rated. And here's here up against board 3 from Ukraine, 2457. So a significant mismatch and a favorite for Mizzou. Antipov is looking to win every single game he plays, regardless of who his opponent is. And we also have fan favorite Grandmaster from Norway, Arjen Tari, here with the white pieces, and looks like he's crushing. There's a pawn on f6, and I don't think black likes it. But Arjen likes it. Arjen's having a great time here. Queen comes back, trying to lend some defense. F takes g7. The king and the queen are lined up. Rook here. You can trade. This one of the rooks is going to try to get to that g file. Black hasn't taken that pawn, by the way. There's one pawn of separation between the king and the queen, and it's not their pawn. It's white's pawn. Queen here. Yeah, it's funny. This pawn is kind of messing things up a little bit. Computer didn't like this move so much. Rook e4, slightly annoying. There's a check. King would have to take at that point. But yeah, the rook's not coming here anytime soon. Rook check is kind of annoying, right? That's kind of a serious threat. So Arjen's got to be a little careful. Arjen's up 2 pawns of material. Queen g5, just offering a trade. And should be fine. Rook and pawn endgame. Up 2 pawns. Do you need more? Sometimes you do. But maybe not this time. It's not even 2 pawns anymore. It's just 1 pawn. But it should be enough. Can we just push this guy? What's going on? This guy might run. I don't know. We're going after this guy first. Okay. That's hit. We can go here, maybe. Here. And then what? Oh, it just takes. Don't care about the F pawn. That outside pass pawn was Black's hope. What's up, Santos? Good to see you. All right, let's take a look at E6 game. E6 blundered mate in 1, which is a big swing of things. If E6 didn't do that, maybe they win and they'd be up 3-1. But we're all tied up 2-2. And yeah, E6 up a point of material. We've got 2 minor pieces versus a rook, though. So typically that favors white. So Martin here, board 2 from Lviv, could have a 2-0 start to this match, which would be huge, keeping them close. So Mizzou cannot afford to undervalue the strength of Lviv. This is a team that took down SRM from India, who made it to the semifinals last season. Also, by the way, this is Lviv's first season in the top division. This is their first time in D1, and they made it to the playoffs, which is already impressive. And on top of that, they've made it to the semifinals, which guarantees them at least $500 for fourth place. And they're guaranteed to play next week regardless of today's match, because there's a third place match even if they lose today. And that is a chance for $1,000. Now, the winning team moves on to the finals to play against SLU, and that guarantees them at least $2,500 for second place. First place overall total prize is $5,000 cash. And this is a completely free tournament to register for. So not too bad for college kids, you know. They definitely need that money. Helps pay for tuition, or, you know, these players compete in tournaments. There's entry fees, there's travel costs, or as Benjamin Bach was saying yesterday on broadcast, their team would celebrate with a nice team dinner. So nice little reason to celebrate. Anyways, we've got some moves here. This relatively is an even position according to the computer. Black is technically up material, but I do like the minor pieces for white. Computer gives a slight edge. And meanwhile, I'm missing all the results. We've got Aryan Tari and Antipov getting the job done on their boards, respectively. 2-point lead now for Mizzou. Only 2 games remaining. We've got Isak and Martin here. And then we have Igor versus Luca. Luca, one of the seasoned veterans here in the Collegiate Chess League. Along with Antipov taking over the board 1 spot for Mizzou after Grigory Oparin graduated just last year. So Antipov and Oparin were a deadly 1-2 combo for the Mizzou team. But SLU also had a deadly combo on their top 2 boards with Grandmaster Benjamin Bach and Nicholas Theodorou, who both graduated at the same time, which was a large reason why the SLU team was unable to defend their back-to-back-to-back championships. So they lost their first championship in 4 seasons to this Mizzou team, who recruited Aryan Tari to join the team. Aryan was a huge part of the championship Mizzou team, and in response, SLU did a little bit of recruiting on their own. They got Grandmaster Aryan Chopra and Grandmaster Victor Gajic, who transferred from UT Rio Grande, who SLU beat yesterday in a very close match. Anyways, in this game, we've got Igor down to 16.9 seconds. G3 kicks the rook back, and now rook to C1, looking to trade rooks. And computer says it's completely drawn, but we have an absolute time scramble on our hands here. Both players with less than a minute on the clock. All right, we have 1 rook traded off the board. Queen here forces the queens off the board if black chooses. White's probably going to trade, double isolate the black pawns, if I had to guess. And now this rook is going to move, going after this weak pawn. But the rook says, not so fast. I'm going to defend it. Rook says, I'm going to fork you. And the rook says, I'm still here. So rook retreats. White wants more. White's pushing. Black is up on time, though. The kings move towards the center. Computer did not like G4, but this does stop these isolated pawns. Kings step up. This rook doesn't have a lot of moves, so this knight's probably going to move now that this pawn is defended, and does so. Now the rook can come back somewhere, trying to stir up trouble on the queen side. Pawn push hits the knight. Knight's got to move. Comes back. This pawn's probably going to solidify this guy. Rook here. The knight covers that square. Rook can go here maybe, and does so. Rook here is so passive. But I don't know. You got to defend this pawn, right? So the king couldn't defend. So the rook has to come here first. Now this guy leaves. This guy steps up, but where is he going? I don't know. I don't know, guys. Don't go there. This is just a draw. What's he doing? Knight block? Okay. Knight has like no good moves. Neither does the rook, really. We're about to get Zugzwang. I don't know. I don't know how you make progress. Let me look at the other game. E6. This was a rook versus two minor pieces, and looks like E6 rooks are doing better. They traded a rook for a bishop. So white's technically up a piece, but look at that pawn. That's a deadly pawn right there. So it gets the piece back. And now E6 just up 2 pawns. Trade. And yeah, this is going to be... I don't know. Rook F3 looked pretty good. White got that pawn. Black's trying to get in. This should be a win for E6 with all the extra pawns. King stepping in. Okay, the C pawn's going to drop. But, oh, that's a mate threat. King hits the rook. 4 seconds. 3. Okay, check. Rook C2. Defend that guy. You're going to drop that, though. White is fighting. Martin's giving up. Or he's not giving up. He's doing the opposite of giving up. That's a check. That's a skewer. You could trade rooks, but that's probably not good. So you're going to have to bring the rook back somewhere. Maybe here? Right? Rook here? It's a tough world to live in when you're down multiple pawns. Igor versus Luka. That was a draw. Which is good for Luka, considering Igor's the board 1. So... yeah, and here E6 gets a big win. So Mizzou is really adding on to their lead. It was tied 2-2, and now... wait, what? What did I just do? Okay. It was tied 2-2, but now Mizzou had a 3.5 to a half lead, getting wins on their top 2 boards and their bottom board, E6 here, and a draw on Luka's board. So a huge round for Mizzou, a 3-point lead going into round 3, the second half. All right, so we've got Antipov with the black pieces up against Martin. And we've got Igor versus Aryan. I kind of want to keep an eye on this game. I've been missing Antipov and Aryan in the first few rounds. But yeah, both these players, high 2,900. Aryan, 9 ELO from 3K. We do have Luka versus Rostislav. Knight looking for a trade. If you trade, bishop takes, hits this guy. Rook comes to the center. Taking with the G pawn. Keeping the queen and rook lined up. Maybe rook to the G file. Bishop, fianchetto. Long diagonal. And yeah, I mean, you might leave your king in the center. Rook here might be early. I don't know. But this bishop, this G file, it's looking really enticing for white, I gotta say. Queen had a battery on the D file, switching now to the diagonal. I'm curious to see how Aryan Tari reacts to this. Just keeping calm, castle kingside, developing the minor pieces, queen steps up. Yeah, look at the rook and look at the pieces. We might see this capture, knight takes, and you might see fireworks at the expense of Aryan Tari's king. This could be dangerous. I would be scared. King here, absolute blunder already. Eval bar, skyrocket. Rook takes d5. Are you kidding me? Absolute tactic. I mean, I'm over here thinking I just take with a pawn. Like a Neanderthal. The computer, galaxy brain, rook takes pawn. Is Igor going to find it? One might think Aryan maybe could have spent a little bit more time here. Both players playing like it's bullet, or at move 15, and neither side has spent a minute. And Igor follows up the blunder with f4 when he had a chance for glory. Didn't take it. Didn't sacrifice the rook. He hasn't been watching enough Gotham chess. Unbelievable. Rook takes. Rook takes. It's there. Opportunity. Second time in a row. I mean, I'll be fair. It's not an easy move to find. Or maybe it is. Because you follow up with knight takes, forking the queen and the knight. And if knight takes, I mean, oh my goodness. Imagine. Just visualize it, Igor. I'm manifesting it right now. He's going to play it. He's going to play it. Rook takes d5, double exclam. You've got 3.5 minutes to find it. Just take all the time you need, because once you play it, it's game over. And he does it. He sacrifices the rook. Rook takes d5, double exclam. And now Aryan Tari is going to get smoked because that d-pawn was holding everything together. Not really. What are you going to do? Just let it take a pawn for free? Computer does say taking is best. And then after knight takes d5, it wants bishop f5. Giving up the queen. Is that for real right now? Are you for real right now, computer? You want Aryan to give up his queen for rook and knight, I guess. I don't know. It's pretty brutal. Yeah, Aryan's stun locked right now. Absolutely in shock. In shambles. Can't even respond to the rook sack. Igor, meanwhile, between his second to last move and his last move, must have watched a quick Gotham chess video. A short, a reel, perhaps. And yeah, e5. That is Aryan's response to rook takes d5. We see a trade. Rook takes. Oh my goodness. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen. Rook takes g7, dude. Sacrifice the second rook. Oh my gosh. 3.5 minutes. Igor, you could have done him so dirty. Aryan's getting dismantled on the board. He's getting torn apart. Shred to pieces before our very own eyes. We're witnessing magic displayed by Igor. Doesn't even need the castle. Doesn't need his, well, he needed the rooks to stir the pot, to get the party going. Rook g7 would have been chef's kiss, but I'll allow rook g2 for now. Computer says just take. What else could you do? Queen h6, and then rook takes g7 nonetheless. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, I swear. We see queen h6, rook takes g7 is just disrespectful. He's watching another Gotham short as we speak. What's up, Taco? Rooting for the Tigers, not to be confused with the Clemson Tigers, who got destroyed by McNeese in the March Madness. All right, Igor, rook takes g7, moment of truth. Come on, buddy. Let's see it. Show me the double rook sack. Why stop at one rook when you can sacrifice both rooks? Come on, Igor. Do it to me. Show us the double. He sacrifices the rook again, back to back. Oh my god. And just resigns. Aryan couldn't take it no more. This- that was incredible. Dude, what a game. Holy smokes. I'm glad I watched that. Okay, let's see how Antipov's doing. Igor trying to bring this match back for Lviv. Did a great job destroying Aryan with 2 rook sacrifices. And Lviv is still down by 2 points. And it... Oh, wait. This is looking crushing too. Imagine Ukraine taking down both Aryan Tari and Mikhail Antipov in the same round. I mean, Martin's got 11 seconds to 3 minutes, but the computer is saying this is +5. I mean, I guess the rook's coming here. The bishop just cannot move. Rook here, and then you've got like bishop check. And I mean, I don't know. This is crushing. Ukraine could tie it. Ukraine could tie it right here, right now. Bishop check. Oh, computer didn't like that. What does it want? Rook g8? Rook g8 check? Oh my god. Imagine another rook sacrifice. I couldn't handle it. Holy smokes. Rook g8 is so beautiful. He wants to infiltrate on the dark squares, but he needed a clearance tactic. The queen and the bishop alone were good enough to deliver checkmate with the 2 pawns. Is that like a dovetail mate or swallowtail mate? I don't know. Something. It's so pretty. It has a name. But no, this is still winning. It's not as beautiful, but still. Luka gets a big point from Mizzou, stops the bleeding. And what's going on in this last game? Luka gets his first win. Here, Isak is doing a good job. So the bottom 2 boards, picking up the slack from the top 2 boards. Igor and Martin delivering a 1-2 punch combo straight to Mizzou. And yeah, Aryan goes down. Antipov looks like... Wait, what? What? What was F3? Was that a mouse slip? Like, what? Oh my word. Brother. You're throwing. Rook d6 it wanted. Now queen d5. And Antipov is... What was F3, dude? Ben Feingold is livid right now. Queen f8. You had queen f8. Okay, queen f8. Bishop e7. Oh, come on. Martin is absolutely throwing by the move, starting with f3. That's gotta be a mouse slip, dude. I cannot fathom that. It's just so brutal. Bishop takes e5 threat. I don't know what's going on. No, stopping back ring mate. Oh my god, queen e7, and that's GG. Bishop here, queen Forktown. Why would you ever play f3? Oh my god. Oh, it's so sad. G takes f4. Oh, he's gonna flag. Martin. Oh, and he had rook g8. Oh, it was so brutal. It was just a heartbreaker game. Antipov emerges unscathed. A perfect 3-0. No one asks how. They ask how many. And Antipov has 3 dubs out of 3 games. Unbelievable. Okay, last game here. And actually, if Isak wins, this is the last game of the match. That put Mizzou at 7.5 points. We might not even witness a 4th round. This game could be over, folks. And Isaac's crushing. 1 minute to 11 seconds. Oh my God, Martin has to be kicking himself. Was that a mouse slip? Can someone from Ukraine help figure out the mystery of F3 of all moves? Unacceptable. That's just not how you want the season to end. Yeah, this match is over. Mizzou's gonna punch their ticket, and we're gonna witness Mizzou versus SLU rematch in the finals. Defending champs versus the perfect 7-0, currently 8-0 SLU team. Can they finish 9-0? Or is Isak going to throw in this last game, and are we going to see an Lviv comeback? Pretty unlikely, but yeah. This is Sviatslav. Sorry if I mispronounced that. But yeah, they have to win or draw to force round 4. Anything less, and their team goes home. But they will play next week against Texas. 1 second here. Are they going to flag? 2.6 seconds. They made that move with less than a second on the clock. Isak's getting low. Isak could also flag, which would be absolute cinema. 10 seconds now for Isak. The board 4 from Mizzou. Under 10 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh my God. 4 seconds. 1 second on the clock. 2 seconds. 1 second. Move. 2 seconds. There goes a pawn. There goes another pawn. It's a race. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1 second. Move. King moves. Knight takes pawn. That's an outside passer. 1 second. White's crushing. But Isak only has 5 seconds as well. Knight moves, and that pawn's racing to the finish line. The king is running back, trying to get there in time, and they're going to be just in time. King takes pawn, though, or knight takes pawn, I should say. Black's trying to run their own passer, but it's not going to be enough. The knight's hanging, but you can push g5, but then the knight takes. No, knight just comes back. Knight trying to stir up some trouble. Yeah, just push that g-pawn. King takes the h-pawn. Oh my God, dude. Isak was less on the clock. If you could get the last pawns, it's a draw. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Isak had so much more time. I don't know where it went. That's a check. King steps up. This is looking brutal. Isak can win these on the 2 second increment, no problem. King back. The king hits the knight. 3 seconds. E6 got 5 seconds. Pawn push, and yeah, the king is going to make its way to g6, or maybe you get checked. He tries to throw away 1 pawn. Maybe he tries to come here. Okay, knight and queen resigns. Isak gets the job done for his team as board 4, going 2 out of 3. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will bring us back to a Mizzou versus SLU repeat in the Division I finals next weekend, Saturday, March 29th. Be there or be square. We will witness a repeat. Mizzou, defending champions, make it back to the finals. SLU, undefeated, currently 8-0 on the season, having beaten Mizzou in the regular season, looking to do it again. This is going to be quite the rematch, and I'm looking forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here and for watching. Congratulations to Lviv on their season. Looks like they're going to keep playing. It doesn't matter, so it's up to them. But yeah, I guess we can keep watching. I don't know. Aryan probably had a sour taste in his mouth after that last game against Igor, so trying to flush the rook sacrifices. Antipov's also playing. So yeah, round 4 typically is required in the regular season because those extra points are needed for tie breaks. In the playoffs, doesn't really matter because it's an elimination bracket. But you know what? What if I have the scoreboard wrong? What's up, H1 Chess? Shout out to H1. Good to see you. No, the Playfly scoreboard also has it right. So yeah, we'll watch these two play it out. Um, and yeah, I believe these players are also competing at the European Individuals Championship. So they had a classical game before this, and they're still playing chess. So shout out to these teams competing. Um, and yeah, I mean Igor's been playing great. This game against Ariantari is just immortalized. And now Igor's up against Antipov. So, yeah, we'll want to keep an eye on this game. I suspect Antipov's pushed his kingside pawns. Black hasn't castled and has an open H file. So that's interesting. Knight out. Black probably still could castle if they want. No, I checked with the official scoreboard. It's the correct score. So that'd be funny though. No, but Mizzou wins. Lviv is going to play again next week still, but in the third place match against University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. Okay. Interesting move there, trading knights. That's a check, bishop block. So that was kind of a discovery on the queen. But Antipov says, no, don't worry. I'm hitting your queen as well. Takes here, and now computer wants queen a4. That's a check. Pawn push. Knight takes. Brutal. Saying, I don't care about your pen. Go ahead, take my rook. And say hello to my double check discovery check. Fork on the king and queen. That would be a sick way to end the game. This is completely crushing, by the way, for Antipov. So, congrats to him. Also, another fun fact. Why am I working so hard with the knight discovery? That bishop's just pinned. So, queen says, all right, I'm out. And that queen says, thanks for the bishop. That's brutal. That's brutal. You got to go. Yeah, it just resigns. GG. Antipov dismantles Igor. Antipov said, listen, I saw what you just did to Aryan. Nobody does my boy dirty like that. And he avenges him. Aryan, meanwhile, up against Martin. I'm going to add on to the score. Actually, I don't know. It's a good point. In our prediction bracket, one of the tiebreakers is total match score. So should the match score end at 8.5 here? 8.5 to 3.5, or should these extra games count? Antipov, by the way, a perfect 4-0 sweep. Keep an eye out for that guy because he might continue his rampage against Slew in the finals. I never got the fourth game in this match. They might have left early. But yeah, Aryan up against Martin. And looks like Martin's doing well. Computer liked f5. Knight d6 also strong move. This pawn. Taking is probably good because it hits the knight. So it does hang this knight, but it does hit that knight. But now this knight maybe hops in the center. Or maybe you just take back somehow. And now you got to deal with this guy who's hanging out. Not having the best time. Oh, we just have the final game has just been played. That just started. So Luca is playing again. Okay. So these players are playing it out. Bottom two boards, we've got Isik versus Sviatoslav. I'm trying my best here. That's a brutal check. Yeah, Isik is crushing on this board. Yeah, honestly, shout out to the Ukrainian team, Lviv, first time in Division 1. And, I think they surprised a lot of people at how good they did. To make it this deep and to still be playing, that's a nice rucksack. Okay, yep, this is mate. Knight e3 is mate in 1. Nicely done from Isak. And yeah, this game has just started. This might be a Mizzou sweep unless Martin can take down Aryan. But again, these games do not matter. Mizzou, this is like the classic "he's already dead" meme, where you're beating a dead horse, really. But sometimes the players just want to finish out the match. They like having the competition. It's also maybe practice. Um, so Aryan got beat in that last game, and he's getting beat in this game. This could be a really important wake up call for Aryan, and it could be kind of like a reality check that his level is not where it needs to be for the finals, for the championship caliber team that they are. Aryan was an instrumental part of them taking down SLU for the first time in 4 seasons. So Mizzou needs Aryan on his game. And SLU, meanwhile, they're watching this for sure. We had Robbie stop by in the chat at the start. He's definitely got his eyes on this. And the SLU team, they're looking at the Mizzou play and seeing how they can take advantage of certain things. Yale was here smoothly, and Yale couldn't even make the playoffs. They weren't even top 6 out of 8. They were bottom 2. Yale was ahead of Virginia. That I can give them. But beyond that, I'm sorry. We watched Yale lose to Clemson yesterday. So the Tigers are doing well in chess. That much I can say. The Tigers not doing so hot in basketball. Both Mizzou and Clemson losing in the first round. And an upset, mind you. What is G4? Aryan. He's worried about his knight getting trapped, I think. He wants to go here, I guess. But okay. So computer likes C5. This knight controls D3 right now. Not that a knight could go. This knight maybe. I don't know. Virginia sucks anyways. Virginia's got a good chess team. They would be great in Division 2. The drop off in the top 4 teams versus the rest of the league is significant. It's tough to be a bottom half D1 team. This Lviv team is one of those. And they did a great job. Because they took down SRM in the quarterfinals. SRM from India was a number 3 seed, only behind Mizzou and SLU. And they made semifinals last year in their first season. So shout out to the international teams showing up big in the Collegiate Chess League. Both SRM and Lviv making it to the semifinals in their first season in the Division 1 playoffs. Very impressive. This is a fork normally, but there is a knight here. I feel like this is a little premature. Oh, queen takes. Very nice. Here, you need queen f1. Queen f1 and what? Knight d2. Queen g1. What's going on? 30 seconds. Knight d2, queen g1. Whoa. Knight e4. Crazy move. If queen takes, knight takes, fork town. Imagine this. Queen takes, rook takes, knight takes f2 would be checkmate. A smothered mate. So queen takes, you have to take with the king. That's a huge blunder. Rook takes. Oh my goodness. And Aryan, the trickster, saw that from a mile away. He almost pre-moved it. Oh, Martin, you had such a good game. What happened? Instant blunder. Rook takes e4. Beautiful. What needed to happen? f5. King off the G file. Wow. What a turn of events. This is at least a little positive note for Aryan to end on. I think if he lost back-to-back games to the top two boards from Ukraine, that would be a shot to his confidence at the least. But okay, the game perhaps not over yet. But I mean, it's kind of 10 seconds for Aryan. Aryan might have left the computer thinking that he would resign his opponent. No, he's doubled his rooks now. Knight here is a massive threat. Winning a rook. 5, 4, 3. Yeah, just move the king. Logical enough. Queen to g3. Trying to trade queens. Also very logical. Knight hits the queen. Discovery on the rooks. Very smart. I would maybe have taken the rook and hope that maybe white would take the queen and you'd blunder a back rank mate, maybe. Actually, I don't know. Doesn't matter. This game never mattered, even for the points. Luka won his game, going 3.5 out of 4. Really strong score for him. Only getting a draw against none other than the top board, Igor. So yeah, both sides less than 10 seconds. That's one check. Going for another check, a pawn check. Pawn grab, gets it. There's another pawn. Knight threatens checkmate, queen's in time. Pawn push, just because why not? Just because you can. Maybe the king just wanders on up. Pawn push says, let's not give them any thoughts. Knight back, queen over. Don't really want to check. Not really any good places to check. King guards the pawn. Knight check. King here. Knight back. Ooh, and that's going to trade, and that might be resigns. No. Plays on. Yeah, to be fair, if you could trade all the pawns, it's a draw, but this pawn's going to drop, and the rest of them also are going to drop like flies. That's one check. Knight pressure here. You could sack the knight back at this point. But why? Okay. Black is trying admirably. Okay, knight's coming home. They were dancing around the pawns. This guy is running. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, the knight is immune from capture because then the pawn promotes. So Aryan Tari, he had a nice tactic there to bring the game back, winning the knight. And yeah, Mizzou swept that final round. So it was 8.5, 3.5, which was good enough for the final score. But here we have 12.5 to 3.5. Mizzou again winning, going on to the finals for their rematch against St. Louis University. So tune in next week, Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll watch either a lower division match or the third place match in Division 1, followed by the finals match, which will be SLU versus Mizzou. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Shout out to Uncle Jesse. Also, I want to shout out our sponsor, Susquehanna, who sent me this shirt. So thank you. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. Stick around for the raid. Bye.